Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Boat from the 19th hole, and I'm here to do the Pro Expert Guide for the upcoming Silver City Tournament. This tournament will be played on the Milano course. So in this guide, we're going to talk about holes 1 through 9. We're going to talk about the different ways that you can play these holes, and we'll also talk about club selection, ball selection, and elevation changes that you may see in this course. This tournament does start on Monday. Qualification begins, and you have 3 days to qualify. So hopefully with this video here, you can refresh yourself on this course and be prepared to start things off and hopefully maybe get in some practice this weekend. You can play these holes on Tours 4, which would be the first tee for the rookies, and then Tour 9 for the Pro and Expert, and that is the second tee. So we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a second. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started here on hole number 1. First thing to know is off the tee box we're playing plus 10% elevation change, and then also plus 10% elevation change for our second shot as well. As far as the ways to play this hole, you have the option to play it to the left side or to the right side. You know, there's really only a couple options here on this course, on this hole to play. So I would say the more conservative approach is to the left side, and then from there you have an option either to go with your thorn or your hornet towards the hole. You'll either bounce it off that fairway to the hole, or you could possibly come in at a little bit different of an angle and go with a little bit of a rough bump to the hole. If I remember correctly, there is somewhat of a little bit of a funnel there on the rough bump, so I would suggest if you want to go for the rough bump, go with the hornet. If you want to go with the shot off the fairway, go with the thorn. In my opinion, that is the way I would play that hole. If you want to play with the thorn, then I would say probably go with 1-2 bars of backspin would be a good approach. I prefer more of the 2 backspin, line that shot up at the hole and just kind of go after it. Now, the other way to play this hole would be to the right side, and we've had this hole many times, so most of you all probably already know this shot. But basically what you're doing is you're jumping your driver off this island with a lot of topspin. You want to have at least 6 bars of topspin for this shot, otherwise it most likely will not make it over that bunker. But if you are fortunate enough to have the topspin, you can land it in this rough right here. You can roll your shot out either to the fairway, maybe to the fringe of the green, or even up to the hole for a possible ace. That's definitely a possibility here. Never out of the realm of possibility here on this shot. I would say playing it to the right side is probably your best chance of getting the eagle, although playing it to the left is definitely another good opportunity as well, as you can kind of dial in that thorn or that hornet shot, especially if that rough bump from that side is working out well. As far as the balls go here, you know, a lot of it depends on the type of wind that we have and what kind of shot we're trying to make. So like if we're going to the left side, I think you're pretty safe, you know, with like a quasar ball if you wanted, you know, especially if you're in the pro. If you're in the expert, I would probably at least go with the Kingmaker. I just feel like playing in the expert, Kingmaker is that good go-to ball on this hole. For the right side shot though, you know, you want to use a ball that's going to let you make the shot without having to worry about like overpowering it severely. So if bumping up your ball power allows you to take that shot at normal power, then you can concentrate more on that perfect hit. Using that overpower, you know, you're having to start divide your attention, you know, between different things, and it's a little bit more difficult to get that perfect shot in. So I would definitely say play that one by ear. Play with whatever ball gives you the best chance to play that shot without having to worry about overpower. And if we have a really bad wind, you know, you may not be able to get around that. And at that point, it may be better off to think about playing a shot to the left side and try to dial in that thorn or that hornet shot. Hole number 2 here, we got a par 3. As far as the pro and the expert goes, the rough bump here I think is going to be your absolute best choice on this hole. It's going to give you, I think without doubt, the best chance at the ace, and it actually may end up being the safest way to play this hole. I play this hole at plus 30%. That's what I've always used on this hole, and that's what I'm going to stick with here. But if you want to play the rough bump here, I would definitely suggest, I'd like to use wind balls here. You can get away with a katana or a kingmaker, but using a ball that will cut down that wind a little bit extra definitely will help you here. So if you can spare that, I definitely would consider that. But you can play this one with a katana in pro. I would say kingmaker in expert would definitely be my suggestion. So basically, you want to have a ball that has a power 3, at least a 3 side spin, in my opinion, because you do want that full side spin to the left. And then you are going to be playing with somewhere between 3 to 5, 6 bars of topspin, depending on the wind. Of course, a tailwind would be less topspin, headwind would be more, and then side wind would be coming in between. So basically what we're looking is our ball to hit and then roll out this fairway through this rough and then down to the hole for the possible ace. At least that's the way we played it last time we had this hole in a tournament. If we have a left to right wind, then you are going to be wanting to use some left curl on that shot to kind of counteract that wind. So just kind of keep that in mind. You may have to use that curl if we have a strong left to right wind on this hole. The other way to play the hole is, would be a shot from back here on this fairway, which is either a max distance Goliath shot, possibly B52, or maybe a min level wood shot. And basically that would just bounce from one fairway over to the next fairway, and then you want your third bounce to hit in that rough for a rollout shot to the green. And that's definitely another option if you're not comfortable with the rough bump, which I know everybody's not comfortable with the rough bump, so that would be another option to play. The third option on this hole would be trying to play a Goliath shot, which you land in this area right here with max backspin and a little bit of right spin, and you're really just trying to take that one basically straight at the hole and just make it happen. I would say for me that would be the absolute third option and the most least likely way to make an ace on this hole. But it wouldn't be the first time that I've proven wrong if someone figures out a shot and it's consistent. So that's just another option. Alright, hole number 3 is next. This par 5 is quite an interesting par 5. It's in my opinion a little bit boring. Plus 10% is going to be your adjustment for the wind off the tee box, and it also will be your elevation for your second shot as well, no matter where you're at on this hole. The conservative way to play this hole is straight up the middle left side here, where we bounce the ball in the fairway, and we just try to drive that ball as far up the fairway as we can through this area right here. Best case scenario, we get it up there. Worst case scenario, we end up farther back here if we have like a headwind or like a side headwind or something like that. No matter what you do, your second shot's going to be towards the green with the sniper. Definitely be careful of these trees. They can be in the way of your ball. So definitely keep that in mind when you are considering how to play that second shot. This whole fairway section here is kind of uneven and bumpy, so you're not going to really be able to find a very consistent bounce. Actually, the farther you get up towards the green, the more consistent that bounce gets. So if you have a club that has a lot of backspin, like maybe a Guardian or high-level Sniper, then you may, if you can get the shot that far up, and that'll depend on your drive, you may be better off thinking about a shot more towards the green and using backspin on that shot. So if you want to play the shot to the right side and we get a good wind, it is definitely possible to play this ball to the right side. It definitely will require you, though, to most likely use a power 4, a power 5 ball pending the wind. You're really going to need some sort of a tailwind, in my opinion, to even make this shot work. But if you are able to get that wind, a shot would look something like this. You can either land it right here and try to take it over this way, or if you really get a good wind, you could possibly land it over in here and go more a straight approach to try to move it up to this zone right here. Of course, if we get it to that front right place, that's the best spot, because that's going to probably be a little wedge shot to the hole. From the back left is going to be either probably short iron or, yeah, probably short iron shot to the hole from there. So Thorn and Hornet would definitely be the clubs of choices for those shots right there. And as far as the elevation goes for the second shot, it would be the same as the second shot from the left-hand side, plus 10%. Is how we would play that one right there. All right, moving right along, hole number 4, we got another par 3 here. And this one right here is definitely famous for its rough bump. So if we have some sort of a side wind that takes our adjustment up and down that rough line, I would definitely say the rough bump is going to be the way to go. Most of the time it's played with the sniper, and it ends up being about a 1-to-1 adjustment, because it's basically in a plus 10% mid-range of the club, which is basically 1-to-1 with the sniper. Playing that shot, you know, you're using probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 4 bars of backspin. And if we are playing that shot, it's normally with a side wind, so it's somewhere between 2 and 3 is what I would say for sure. The other option is to play the shot off the island here. That's definitely your second option. For there, you're going to play your shot with a wood club and 3 to 6 bars of backspin, depending on the angle and the of the wind, and a plus 10% for that shot right there. The other option would be a rough bump here with top spin and right spin towards the hole. That's definitely another option. And then you can also play more of a guardian shot where you land it right here on that edge of the fairway. And then from there, you're going to use pretty much your max backspin. You're going to use a good amount of right spin as well for that shot. And then you also may use a little bit of curl depending on that shot. And really, that shot's just going to, you know, take your shot into the green and kind of, with that backspin, send it in a direction of the hole. I would say that's probably the least likely ace chance. I would say the best way to ace this hole, though, is the rough bump, and then second, the shot off the little island. The thing about the island is, as you see, it's an island. So anytime you mess up your shot, then you're dealing with the sand. The reason I don't really recommend the rough bump if you have like a tailwind or if you have to adjust back into that bunker is because then you have to start dealing with you know, a second adjustment for after the wind to compensate for moving that target down to a lower position in the bunker. You know, so a lot of times, you know, there's a push back forward, a push up, like a ring push up associated with that shot after you make adjustment for the wind when you adjust back down into that bunker. So that's definitely something to think about here when you are trying to decide which way that you do want to attack this hole. So as far as the ball goes here, you know, whatever makes you feel most comfortable. I tend to like to play with Kingmakers in the expert, but in the pro, you know, Navigator, a katana ball would probably be sufficient for you. Hole number 5 is next. Let's see what time it is. All right, hole number 5 is next. For this hole right here, you know, there are a lot of different options to play. Of course, you have to the left and to the right side here. If you play to the left side, you're playing a shot out on this fairway with top spin and right spin. You're really trying to get your ball as far up and to the front edge of that fairway as possible. If you're playing your shot to the right side, then you're going to be playing about 3 to 4 bars of top spin, and you're trying to bounce your shot over the rough. And either you'll hit the rough and roll out, or you'll hit the fairway and roll out here up to this section right here. So you definitely want to, I would say, probably put a little bit of right spin on that shot as well to direct it away from this bunker right here. You definitely want to go in that bunker. So from the left side and the right side, we play a plus 20% on our second shot. We play a plus 10% on our tee shot. So for these shots going down to the green, you're going to be picking out your favorite short iron Hornet, Thorn. I would recommend the Thorn for that shot. But you know, you definitely would probably want to pack the Saturn as well, just in case you are out of short iron range. That way you have a long iron that does have a lot of backspin to it as well. So I would definitely recommend the Thorn and the Saturn for this hole. Katana ball would definitely be a good ball to use, but you know, Titan ball, Kingmaker ball would also be a great way to go in at least in the expert for sure. So the other option on this hole is the middle, and in the pro and expert, you know, you're not going to get up to this section right here like you do in the rookie. Your way of playing this shot is bouncing it off this island right here. In order to do that, you got to be using a driver that's got some distance, and you got to use a driver that's got a lot of topspin. So we're linking about APOC 5 plus at least Thor 6 would be the clubs that would give you those stats. And you know, you're going to have to use power 3 ball. I would probably recommend even going to a power 4 ball. Once again, playing whatever ball gives you the best chance to make the shot with the least amount of overpower, in my opinion, is the best way to go. And even if you hit a perfect shot here, it's not guaranteed this ball will roll through this fairway, because you will hit the fairway and then you will, hopefully your shot rolls through. There are definitely some sticky spots on that fairway from experience in the past on this hole. Sometimes the ball hits and sticks, sometimes the ball hits and rolls, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that. It's just sometimes kind of the luck of the draw. You know, got to have a little bit of luck to get the roll. From there, if you do get the roll, you're either going to have a wedge shot to the green, or if you get stuck in the rough, it's not a terrible rough iron shot either from that position. I would play that shot though up here at plus 10% from that shot. Even the wedge shot is a bit of a downhill shot to the hole. So the ball will be up in the air a little bit longer than a normal small chip alongside the green, just because of that downhill trajectory of the shot. So definitely make sure to put a little bit of adjustment on that shot as well. I know a lot of times we get around the green with the wedge and we say, we could just aim the shot at the hole and make it. This one right here, like I said, a little bit more downhill of a trajectory, so I would definitely suggest throwing on that plus 10% into your wind adjustment for that shot. Alright, so I got hole number 6 here. Much like the last hole, you have the ability to go to the left or to the right or up the middle. So let's first talk about our shot to the right. I would definitely recommend bringing a club with some curl for this shot. Definitely, you know, a ball with some side spin as well. So for that reason, we're looking at either most likely, I would say the Kingmaker would be the best option for this shot as well. So you want to take a shot to the right side. You're going to be using right side spin. And you know, just maybe a little bit of topspin, but not much, because you don't want the ball to hit and bounce forward. You want the lack of spin, topspin, to kind of help guide that ball more to the right side here, and you want to end up the fairway. For that reason, right there is why you're going to use your right side spin and also a little bit of right curl with that shot. If you do have left to right wind, then you definitely do not need to use as much curl with your shot. So definitely keep that in mind if you have a left to right wind. It is not as vital to use as much curl. You can also play the shot to the left side as well. For that shot, you're going to be using at least 5 bars of topspin and right spin on this shot. Basically, you're going to hit in the fairway, bounce over the edge of that rough line, up the fairway as far as you can is best. If you have left to right wind, you definitely don't want to use a lot of right curl, if any. If you do have right to left wind though, and you want to play that shot, then you do want to add some right curl onto that shot. So let's go over that again. Left to right wind, barely any curl. Right to left wind, use right curl to kind of counteract that wind. Otherwise, if you have left to right wind and you use right curl, then you do run the risk of hitting this rough on the hop, and then your driver will not roll out as far as you need it to roll out for that second shot. So, all right, plus 10% off the tee box for those shots. Your second shots will be rough bumps here. With, I would say, the sniper is your best option. In my opinion, the sniper is the way to go. And then you're going to be playing plus 10% on both of those shots as well. Or actually, no, I don't think they're. I think that's the shot where we don't have any adjustment. I'm pretty sure there's no adjustment on that shot. So left and right, second shot, 0% adjustment on the second shot. But yes, plus 10% shot adjustment on the drive. The other way to play this hole is up the middle. This is a hole where you need another driver with lots of topspin. So, I would definitely say, those high-level Thors and Apocs will definitely come in handy. The big topper will definitely be a possibility, but it's going to require, a good amount of overpower from that second tee, whereas off the first tee it's a little bit easier. But it's going to be the same kind of theory. Hit the fairway, bounce up to the rough line, and then roll out onto the fairway. From there, you have a second shot to the green with your sniper, and that's going to be your best bet out the albatross with that straight-on sniper shot. Just like the other two, your second shot will be 0% for the adjustment elevation-wise. All right. And like I said, as far as the ball goes, use your discretion. I would say kingmakers at least to the left and to the right. If you don't feel like you have enough distance for your second shot, then you may want to think about a Titan ball, a Power 4 ball, just to be able to reach that rough bump with the sniper. If you don't feel comfortable with the sniper, then definitely go with the big dog or the Cataclysm for that second shot. And that really ends up being, your choice on what you think you can do and what you can't do. So if you practice a shot and you realize, I don't think I have the distance on my drive to use the sniper, in that situation, then I would definitely, revert to the big dog. Or if you do have a little bit leveled up Cataclysm, that would definitely be an option as well, for sure, on this hole. Alright, so for hole number 7 here, we got a par 3. The way we're going to play this hole is plus 10% for the elevation change. And, different ways to play this hole. It seems to be kind of a theme where we have left and right and then down the middle. Well, it's going to be the same here this time. In my opinion, the best way to play this hole is going to be with the sniper, and it's going to be another rough bump. This has been the way that I've always played this hole, and I would assume it's going to be the same way we play it this time. Like I said, it's a plus 10% elevation change for the shot. You will be using your sniper, and I would definitely recommend, some sort of a wind ball. I prefer a Kingmaker ball. You can dial that back to probably a Katana in the Pro if you want, but in my opinion, Kingmaker is definitely the way to go here. You'll play this shot, basically depending on the wind angle, somewhere between the neighborhood of 2 to 4 or 5 bars of backspin. Less backspin with a tailwind, or with a headwind, more backspin with the tailwind, and then in the middle with the side wind. It would be nice if we had that side wind, because then that would let us adjust along that rough line, which makes the shot much easier, because when you have to start adjusting back down into the bunker, then we're talking about adjusting down into elevation. So we have to start thinking about, pushing the shot back up a little bit and stuff like that. If you'd rather play a safer method, you can play your shots to the left side or to the right side. I would be weary about playing to the right side. You are landing your shot on a little bit more of a sloped fairway, so definitely be careful on the curl that you put in that shot. But if you do have a right to left wind and you want to play your shot safe, I would say the right side. If you have a left to right headwind wind, then you're going to want to play your shot on the left side. Playing those shots, you're going to be playing somewhere between the neighborhood of 4 to 7 bars of backspin. And you know, a lot of that depends also on the direction of the wind angle. So if you have a tailwind, you're going to be playing to the higher end of that backspin. If you have a headwind, the lesser end of that backspin. But more than likely, if you're playing the shot to one of the sides, that means you have more of a side tailwind. So you're going to be somewhere in the middle of that 4 to 7 bars. You know, definitely be weary of the amount of curl that you use on those shots, because if you already have wind blowing in that direction, then you don't want to over curl that shot and cause the ball to, you know, overplay the hole. So basically, we're just, you know, using the backspin and the side spin of the shots to direct our shots to the hole. But once again, I'd say playing the rough bump up the middle is going to be your best way to go on hole number 7. All right, let's move on to hole number 8 here. And we got a par 4. I actually kind of like this hole. You know, we'll have to wait and see what kind of winds we get on this hole. But if we get some sort of a tailwind or a small, like a side tailwind, we can play our shot to the left-hand side. I would definitely recommend playing this one again with a Kingmaker ball if you can. But you're looking for a landing position to be right here. And we're going to be using top spin and left spin. It's important to have that extra side spin to the left for this shot. I would say about 5 bars of top spin for this shot. A little bit even more than that, you can definitely, you know, flirt with this rough up here at the end of that fairway. So your ball's going to come in here and it's going to hit, bounce over the bunker. You may hit the rough and roll out, but, you know, we would like to hit the fairway and roll our shot out down that fairway to the end of the fairway. We'll play a plus 10% on our shot off the tee box. And then for our second shot, we'll just play a 0% for our second shot, which will be with either like a min short iron or a wedge towards the hole. And I would play my shot with about 2 bars of backspin and really just kind of go at the hole. The closer to the edge of the fringe you can land your shot, the better, because it is a little bit more flat and you will get a better consistent bounce from that spot right there. You can use your thorn or you can use your hornet on that shot. Now, if we get some sort of a headwind that does not allow us to play that shot, then we have to play our shot to the right-hand side. And then at that point, we're just trying to get our shot down the fairway as best as we can to give ourselves the best line possible towards the pin with our with a sniper is what I would suggest if we have to go to that right side and play that right side shot. And let's see, for your second shot there, once again, 0% will be your elevation adjustment for that shot. Moving on to hole number 9. This is our last and final hole. And we start out with the Big Dud par 5. We end with the Big Dud par 5 hole. And they did redo this hole a few tournaments back, but it's still kind of, I don't know, just not one of the holes that I enjoy very much. As far as the way to play it, you know, we'll be laying our shot up here on the fairway with full top spin and side spin to bounce and then roll up as far up the fairway as possible. And depending on the wind that we get, if we do get a really nice tailwind, maybe an expert, there's that outside possibility that we can take our drive all the way up to that next fairway and get even farther up the fairway for our second shot. But mostly we'll be in this area right here for our drive. Now from there, if we do for some reason hit the rough and roll out and have a short drive, you know, we can always go to the left side right here and lay up a shot here for a second shot with our sniper or Goliath toward the pin. But in all reality, we want to be to that right side and we want to be as far down the fairway as we can. If we can land our shot on this area of the fairway and you have a cataclysm or a fully developed big dog with topspin, you can quite possibly get to this little small fairway section, but it's definitely not easy to obtain. So for most people, you know, most people will be playing their shot just normal, where they bounce it over the rough and then roll their shot to right here. From there, then they're going to have a short iron approach to the hole where they bounce over the bunker, hit the fringe in that ridge, and hopefully roll it into the hole for the eagle. But in the situation that we do get a really nice tailwind for our drive and we can get the ball to bounce over on that second fairway and get a really nice rollout, definitely the possibility for that big dog or cataclysm shot to that small little fairway just in front of the green is a possibility. And then in that situation, we'll have a very nice wedge chip for the eagle. But if not, you know, we'll just play it our normal way. So definitely some things to think about here on this hole, and, you know, figure out once Monday rolls around and we do see what kind of wind we do have, and if those shots are possible. One other thing that I do remember we have played on this hole is a power curl shot before, where we take our shot way out here to the right, and then bring it back in. We hit right in here, and then that shot will skip through all of this mess, and then all the way through to this zone right here. From there, you have a second shot with your wood, skipping it off this little fairway platform into the hole for a possible albatross attempt right there. So, you know, a lot of things dependent on the wind that we have on Monday. So if we get a right to left tailwind here for this hole, that power curl shot may be back in play for this hole. And that's really the only fun way we get to play this hole, is if we have some sort of a power curl shot. Otherwise, you know, it's just the normal, bounce it over the bunker in the fairway to the fairway here, roll it out, second shot, bounce it over the rough to the fairway, and then maybe a short iron. That's the normal way we play this hole. But we'll have to wait and see what Playdemic has in the cards for us wind-wise, and let's see if they let us have a little bit of fun here. So, all right, y'all, that was the playthrough, holes 1 through 9 Milano course. Pro Experts. Hopefully you all learned a thing or two. Definitely check us out on Facebook, Golf Clash the 19th hole. If you haven't done so yet, definitely hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscription button and set up your notifications. That way you can be alerted when I do release new videos, and also when I do stream live during tournament week. So thank you all very much. Have a good day. God bless. Check out my friend Gio Viviani on his Golf Clash channel, Golf Clash Italy. Him and several other streamers stream their content on this channel, covering all different divisions of play and also tour play as well. So definitely check them out. If you want to find Gio on Facebook, his Facebook account is, as you see his name on the picture on the screen. So definitely check him out there, friend him on Facebook, and subscribe to his channel.